One of the deadliest creatures in movie history is back, and people are loving it. Fede Alvarez's Alien, Romulus has finally screened for members of the film press, and the first reactions for the R-rated tentpole are praising its horrifying scares, practical effects and killer cast. Many film writers agree Alvarez has delivered one of the better entries in the 45-year franchise that started with Ridley Scott's Alien in 1979. Alien, Romulus, is a bonkers roller coaster ride through the previous 6 Alien movies, using bits of all them, to tell a focused, mostly standalone story filled with glorious gore and scares, Gizmodo's Jermaine Lucier wrote on X/Twitter. It gets better as it goes along, ending with a phenomenal big swing of a third act. This is easily one of the better films in the franchise. Fede Alvarez doesn't disappoint. Variety's own Jazz Tangcay wrote on X, awesome sound design and world building. The practical effects are so good that the film gave me nightmares. Film critic Courtney Howard described Alien, Romulus as gnarly, gripping and gorgeously bleak. Innovatively delivering smart, savvy stuff, subtly playing the greatest hits, Howard wrote on X, Kelly Spaney and David Johnson dominate. This rules. Tessa Smith, owner of Mama's Geeky, said, Alien, Romulus pays perfect homage to the original, using practical effects whenever possible. This works so well that the CGI stands out when used. It is slow to start but man, once it gets going, you will be on the edge of your seat until the very end. Alien, Romulus, which Scott produced, is a standalone sequel set between the events of Alien, 1979, and James Cameron's Aliens, 1986. The film centers on a group of young space colonists, led by Kelly Spaney's Rain, who accept a mission to scavenge a derelict space station as a ticket off their impoverished planet. Little do they know the space station is home to the eponymous creature. The cast also includes David Johnson, Archie Renault, Isabella Merced, Spike Fern and Aileen Wu. Many viewers praised Johnson and Spaney's performances in the latest Alien installment, as well as highlighted the third act of the sci-fi horror film in their reactions. MovieWeb editor Richard Fink said the third act had me gasping in horror, while Chicago Indie Critics member Nico Caruso called it absolutely stunning. However, some thought Alien, Romulus, began to falter towards the end, with Film Inquiry critic Mark McPherson noting that thematic elements get lost in the shuffle by the third act. There's a lot to love, with splendid horror elements, visceral imagery and incredible creature design. David Johnson is a scene stealer, wrote film critic Leo Rydell. However, it rallies the best elements of the franchise together instead of standing on its own, and characters are forgettable. Scott gave up directing duties on this 7th installment after helming the prequel movies, Prometheus and Alien, Covenant. He worked closely with Alvarez on developing the story for Alien, Romulus, and has continually praised the Don't Breathe filmmaker for injecting the Alien franchise with new life. The danger of all franchises is they do die unless somebody suddenly decides to pick up the mat and run down the field with a ball, Scott recently told the Los Angeles Times. Fede is a surge of energy, and I had to step back and let him do it. Fede had a blueprint firm in his mind, and his script was pretty clear. It was also long, but the screenplay is always long. And so we got into that a little bit. I hope Fede's got another one up his sleeve because I think this is going to do really well, Scott added about the film. He's got a streak of brilliance.